All right, today we're hitting legs and we're going dumbbells only because a lot of people, they're still exiled from their happy place. And let me say, not the worst thing in the world. I look at it more as a challenge because if you can make progress with just a couple dumbbells in your backyard for the rest of your life, you're fucking golden. So if you're ready, let's go kick our own. When it comes to lunging in place, I've never been a big fan of the quad dominant variation where you're stepping out, driving back off that quad. It gives me this eerie Suzanne Summers workout VHS vibe. On top of that, you're almost negating the negative altogether. You lose tension, and it's such an explosive movement, you have to use more weight than you probably have at home. But the hamstring and glute-centric version of reverse lunges is phenomenal because if you're conscious with your form, you can enhance it even more. So if you want to target more glute, all you gotta do is shift a little bit more weight into that hip, and as you step back, lean into that quad, and it's gonna stretch that glute even more, put more tension on it, and then when you want to target that hamstring even more, don't just stand straight up. What I want you to do is as you drive up, lean back and try to flex that entire posterior chain from the glute down to your calf and don't lock that knee out. Keep a little bend to it. That's gonna flex that hamstring even harder. And one of the coolest things about these, which isn't true with the quad dominant variation, is the better you get at developing that mind muscle connection, the less weight you're gonna be able to use. So after I made that video about getting back on the caffeine train, I had a ton of supplement companies reach out and say, hey, why don't you try a pre-workout? So I did what any ethical adult would do, try to get as much free shit as possible. And one particular company stood out because I've seen them before. And not just in the fitness industry. I've seen them sponsor people in other niches as well. Like the UFC, I think they even have one of the top a cappella singers in the world, Greg something. One of the cool things is when the owner reached out, I just told him, hey, just so you know, everything there's got to be vegan friendly. So we went back to the manufacturing side, checked everything out, make sure all the ingredients were, which is important because ironically, the name of the flavor is tiger's blood. When I first got it, I saw there's a tiger, a watermelon, a strawberry, and a coconut. I thought for sure it's gonna be hot garbage. Turns out it's pretty phenomenal. If you don't believe me, this is how you know that people take their shit. And they didn't just dump it out either because everybody who takes supplements know that you're usually too lazy to actually go in there and get that salt thing out because your hands are too fat. So you just scoop around it. So I reached back out to him and I said, hey, I like it, but before we get serious, go on a second, third date, give me a coupon code. I'll let all the people that follow this channel try it. And if they like it, we're good to go. Because whether you know it or not, we're in this together. So all you gotta do is hit the link in the description, use the coupon code Ryan when you check out, but be careful. This shit is incredibly strong. Do not hurt yourself. If you die, it's not on me. So you know the movement I don't like for quads, but the two I love are static lunges and walking lunges. So why not superset them and really ruin your life? Now, because we want to make these movements even more quad intensive, we're gonna make little tweaks to the form. So with the static lunges, you're gonna shift that knee over the toe, so there's already a stretch on that quad, coming 3/4 of the way up, and then keep that constant tension the entire time. And then with the lunges themselves, because we're using dumbbells, one, you don't want to swing, but also you don't want people to laugh at you. Pick those dumbbells up, hold them on your shoulders, and lunge that way. And I always err on the side of these short, ridiculously choppy, awful looking lunges where it's more like a walking crawl than anything, but it keeps constant tension, it burns, and you'll be lucky if you get 20 steps. Now this is a great movement for anybody who has that degenerative disease known clinically as old man ass. And the coolest part about it is it's simple, but it's highly effective. And it really tests whether or not you can shift those hips and engage those glutes. And the way you're gonna do these is by holding that dumbbell opposite your working leg, kick that off leg completely straight, and then shift that weight into your hips. And then as you go down, it's gonna feel like you're sitting up for a pistol squat, but you're not gonna go straight down. You're actually gonna use those glutes and drive back into them, and then use that off leg to touch, that's your bottom, and then drive up into that hip. All right, let's finish up with an awful version of split squats. And the thing I want you to walk away from this with, other than the fact that you hate me for making you do these, is that all exercises only need to be slightly modified to be enhanced. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of new people make to the gym is they think that there's a right way to do an exercise. When in reality, the best bet is just try enough weird shit until you connect with something even more, And that's the new right way for you. So the way this movement is typically modified is where that foot is in relation to the bench. So the closer it is, more quad, further away, more hamstring, glute, but it's still a straight up and down movement. What I want you to do today is get that entire leg involved. So put that foot in a neutral position and then start at the bottom by leaning forward, stretching that glute, and then engaging and starting the lift from there. So as you start to flex up, you're gonna squeeze that hamstring and then finish it off in the quad by really leaning back and driving up. So as always, like, subscribe with the notification bell, leave a comment for the video you want next. Get after it, get growing. Talk to you soon.